All right, guys, welcome back. We are on episode 10 at this stage, which is great. So we put them on every 2 weeks now. Gives people a little bit of time to catch up, but also gives us time to focus on everything that's going on with IMPRUV at the moment, which is all very positive. Yeah, we've been chipping away behind the scenes, probably more workload with building some systems out in the back at the moment, which is great. I think it's something that we don't realize how much work we've done. And it's more about now, I think one of the areas that we constantly looking to work on is more like the sales. We're not like super salesy people.
No.
We're more like, let's build a really good product and then not try and sell it to people as much as we should.
Yeah.
But, it's almost that kind of like, I don't want to be in people's faces.
Yeah. And you just want to be true to yourself as well.
Want to be true to yourself. And that's kind of something that we want to continuously do. And we know that, that's more important right now for us. I'd say like in time, looking at someone to help us with the sales process in terms of like generating leads and doing everything. But I think for right now, most important to us was making sure that we're staying true to ourselves and building out something really good. And everybody that works with us is like,
and like
really enjoying it.
Everyone who works with us, they are our marketing.
Exactly. It's great. We would probably have as much as we can almost be dealing with until obviously now people sort of know we've been hinting to it. We're going to open up some different ways to work with us. But like at the moment, as it stands, we're nearly limited in the amount of people we could take in this current capacity now.
And that's why it's time for that next.
It's funny. That's how the universe works in many senses. Is it's just you're given what you can deal with at the time, and that's very much what I think we're about to make this shift, and it's going to be really nice. Just going to open the doors for more people.
Like the mission doesn't change. It's trying to help as many people as possible, but you just got to change how you do that.
Which we're looking forward to doing.
Was
it last week we spoke more on, 2 weeks ago, we spoke more on the Jiu Jitsu side of things, which we hadn't done in a while, and actually people were enjoying that. And with our 30-day reset coming up in October, which is going to be amazing. I can't wait to do it again. I'm just coming off the back one myself. You've been doing a lot of similar stuff, and you're actually nearly doing more of it this month in terms of your nutrition focuses and all of those things. But that's going to be really, really good now in October. But anyway, there's kind of those 4 pillars. The first one was Jiu Jitsu, which we were talking about a lot last week. And the 3 other ones that we have is performance nutrition for Jiu Jitsu. We have strength and conditioning, which we would obviously talk about ongoing, and then the mindset work that people are kind of not touching on. And I think the 30-day reset gives people the opportunity to dive into each of those areas. They may have focused on 2 out of those 4 areas, or, and everybody's 2 areas that they focus on, or 3 areas or 4. Well, 3 will be different than someone else's. So it's going to give everyone the opportunity to do it all at the same time, and then build in habits that really have worked for them. Take what's been really good and then take it with them into the next month, or the next number of months or years or whatever. So I think the difference is there's a lot of people that work on strength conditioning. There's a lot of people that work on nutrition, mindset, jiu-jitsu. You can get instructional stuff that coming out your ears, but there's not really that one place where you have somebody or a group of people who can direct you in all those areas together and hold you accountable to all those things. And that's where that 30-day reset is just trying to get people to do it, so they know what it feels like to work on all 4 of those areas just for 30 days. So at least after that, if they don't continue to do it, they're going to have to come up with a good excuse.
To themselves. It gives you a really good reference point.
I
remember doing it before. I remember doing it with my diet like 2 years ago. Like I tracked every single calorie and every single workout, almost too much for quite a while. But I saw quite a change in terms of results. And then it slowly drifted off, but you are aware of like what is possible. So the same with this research, like you'll be aware of what is possible when you have everything dialed in, and you'll know day to day when you're off track then, and how you can you get a good idea of what good looks like.
Yeah, it's good to look back on the month. There's a scoring system, and there's a, you know, you look back, you go, Jesus Christ, I thought that'd be easy, and it wasn't. But okay, I find that particularly difficult. Maybe that just needs to be slightly different for me to adhere to it more, or the sustainability factor, you know, whatever that might be. Or I thoroughly enjoyed that. I am definitely keeping that up.
Yeah.
You know, but one thing I get with my personal clients, and I always have done, is when they first come in, we decide on a sustainable and achievable goal, and how much that they can give to the process and not. So you take what it is. Okay, say, right, this is what you're able to give right now. Now let's commit to that, and I want you to commit to that for 30 days.
Yeah.
Just this first 30 days. If you're not going to do it now, you're not going to do it. If you commit to it now for the first 30 days, A, you build a habit, so it becomes much more normal for them. B, it's a really manageable goal. It's manageable, but also has transformational effects in terms of you can actually begin a transformation of some degree, whatever it is. But 3, it's that point that we're talking about, is it gives them the opportunity to actually see what it's like to do all those things. And now they have that reference point. So if they have that reference point, they know they can do it, they know they have done it, and they know what it feels like and the effects that it has. Now it's up to them to make that decision.
Yeah, I've seen it recently actually with a client that I'm working with in the gym, and you know, Dave, he's only there about a month, but committed to the 2 weeks, and you can already see, you know, him coming in and saying like, oh, I'm much more aware of the diet now because I know how my diet is affecting how my sessions are. So he's getting those in. Then you hear things of like, oh, he had free on a Monday, so he just picked up the dumbbells and did a bit himself. Like, it's such getting some of those small things that really builds a great platform to build off as the month goes by. And it's not even like you doing that challenge last month. Had you not already put in some good habits around lifting and training already, you know, that is, it seems daunting at the start, but it just builds on top of everything you've already done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's, I was going to say there was something about the lifting. Yeah, what it was we've talked about this before, about getting people in lifting as the first step. You know, like, okay, that's your first step, but this is actually this is to do with personal development as a whole.
Yeah.
So you're starting off with lifting, or you're starting off with Jiu Jitsu, or you're starting off with your nutrition, and all of those things. The reason you've decided to do that is to better yourself in one way, shape, or form. Like, that we know that is to better yourself and to enjoy yourself, hopefully, as well. So you're doing it to better yourself, and then in turn, it's like, okay, this is going well. Now maybe I'll add something else. So it's that adding on process.
Yeah.
And again, coming back to this 30-day reset it's giving you the opportunity to now build on your jiu-jitsu. Or maybe you are lifting and you're doing jiu-jitsu, but you haven't done any mindset work. You haven't done any nutrition work. And this gives you the opportunity to do it.
Exactly.
We've set it up in a sense as well that it's going to be like this. I was adamant about this, that it isn't fluffy and easy.
Yeah.
It is a challenge without using it. It's a reset, but it's a challenge in its very sense. Is if you don't challenge yourself, you're not going to get anything. So you do have to commit to this. And we love to implement the 80-20 rule anyway with people. And, you know, if you have any degree of discipline and you want to change your progression on the mats, give yourself this 30 days and actually say, I know for sure I could give an 80% effort to this.
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
Yeah.
You know?
And the returns you'll see on it are so much greater as well.
Yeah, they're great. So, or they certainly will be if they can at least get that 80%. And then you have those other people who just won't miss a day on whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
All very manageable. Obviously, you're still just keeping our traditional 2 days of lifting. You're committing to X amount of jiu-jitsu days, whatever it is that you would normally do.
Yeah.
We've got a daily mindset practice, which is really important because that's something that's probably new to people. Small, but important to keep that up. Obviously, you miss a day or two, it's still going to be 80-20.
Yeah.
And then in nutrition as well, same 80-20. You can miss a day or two, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because more important that we build sustainable habits that people actually bring forward with them. We want people to get these, utilize them and bring them forward.
And the beauty of it is some of them you'll really enjoy doing and some of them will be a real challenge, but that's the whole point of it. You know, it's not all going to be like, it's not going to be crap, like all of it. Like,
no, exactly.
There's so much you'll get out of it,
Yeah.
but you'll be pushing yourself in certain areas and trying something new and getting outside that comfort zone.
And you know what's amazing with that is there's other people doing it too.
Yeah, exactly.
And when you're in a community, because there'll be a group, there's a community group where people will be posting the videos of different things, and there's other people there who are experiencing this with you. So they're saying, do you know what? I'm just struggling with the nutrition. Oh, hey, me too. I just found I was struggling, but I did this and it made a big difference. Or we'll be in there with you going, don't worry, we'll get you through this, etc.
That's what you want to have. You want to have those struggles. You wouldn't have to do the challenge if everything was really easy. You could just implement it from day one. It's navigating it around life and when things come up, or, you know, just trying to make the best out of a situation that you have at hand. That's the real beauty of it.
Absolutely. And inevitably, you're going to have that first 7 days that are going to be here nor there. You're not sure. And actually, for everybody that will sign up, is they're going to get all of the instructions about 3 days out to know for sure what it is that they have coming up ahead of them. First week might be rocky, and then they'll just start fitting it in around their schedule and realizing that you can do it.
Yeah.
So you have to give everything a try, as far as I'm concerned. You sign up to something, give it your best effort.
Yeah.
Of course there's going to be struggles, like you said. But when there's such an ability with the 80-20 thing to have a little slip up and keep moving forward, it's great.
Exactly.
So that's what you need to do. You'll never change if you don't commit to something.
And like, even take the nutrition thing as example, because I'm looking at that at the moment. You already did it last month with the challenge.
Yeah.
And then it's something I wanted to go back and address, because like I mentioned earlier, my diet, focused really hard on it about 2 years ago. I've just kind of let it go. And it's gone a bit sloppy for the last while. And it's been one of those, everyone has that thing in their head, you know, in the back of your mind, I need to fix my diet, you know, or it's whatever, I need to get lifting, I need to do whatever. The diet for me has been a thing for a while. So kind of like what you were doing, looking at that more, like a more natural diet, less processed food, looking at those macros on the calculator that we have, which is also in the challenge.
Nice calculator.
Yeah, really nice. So trying to get all those in, and then like obviously there's the education from you in terms of how best to get those in. But it's hard to just go home on a Monday and say, okay, now we do it, because there's some stuff in the house that's still there, and you know, you kind of have to. I feel bad throwing it out, so I kind of have to eat it. You know what I mean? So there was a bit of that the first week. The first week was just like an attempt, a best attempt at it, you know, and because you have to learn, you're buying new things, you have to eat differently, you have to consider things of, you know, you need to prep food to bring with you, all those sort of things. So yeah, for me, it wasn't a perfect first week, but it was a good first effort, and then you bring those learnings into the next week.
Yeah, absolutely. It is, that's why we're sending out some of the stuff early. Like, these things require a little bit of effort.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. It's not going to be the same.
But I could easily say, well, that week was crap, I'm not doing this, throw it all out.
Yeah,
you know, rather than saying like,
it wasn't crap. And I remember listening to it. It just wasn't perfect.
Exactly, yeah. But it's just taking that into the next week, or next week will be perfecter.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It'd be perfecter. With we're going to add to this 30-day challenges I've after writing up BJJ fundamental nutrition kind of ebook, which really typically good. Like what I end up doing is try to say I'm going to do a quick one to put something together for people to, you know, digest, and now I'm like, okay, I've done a really thorough job for my fundamental position about how to eat well for jiu-jitsu. It's sort of a 20-page ebook, something like that.
Yeah.
Goes through each and everything and the reason for each of those things related to jiu-jitsu and your general health and stuff. You know, so between that and using your macro calculator and then our app, it's for people who really want to actually make a difference with their nutrition. For the cost of this, what it's going to cost people, the amount of value that they get is insane.
It is, yeah.
And if you implemented all of the above, this is going to be an incredible 30 days.
Yes.
So I have and I mean this now, I have no doubt in this world that if somebody committed to this 30-day challenge, they read the BJJ nutrition book that they're going to get free with it, they're going to watch the video, the welcome video for us, get an understanding of what to do, and then implement it for 30 days, even with the 80-20 principle of getting 80% of it, I guarantee you they will feel a million times better. Their energy levels are going to be up. They're going to feel stronger, more resilient. Their mindset is going to be so much better, just clearer, even day to day. This is not just jiu-jitsu related. We are getting people to tap into general mindset, mindfulness kind of situation. There's going to be journaling. People are going to have to make an extra bit of an effort again with all of this, but it is so worth the reward. So long and short of it, not worried about the outcome. Outcome is guaranteed if you put in the work.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
But that's what I wanted. I don't want a fluffy 30 days where people come in and they like do a workout once a week and get a high five.
Yeah.
It is more than that.
Yeah. Definitely. And I think as well, it's not being, there's a lot in it. Like if there's a lot in it and it's not being overwhelmed by that, it's just like taking that, like you said, that 80-20, learning, giving it your best stab and just committing into like the next day or the next week going, okay, I'm going to keep going at this, keep going, do it better, get better, sharper on it, take those learnings on board.
But sure, look, even if they do, we were saying 80-20, you complete the challenge with regards to, the point scoring system. That's only to give people a good motivator. If you end up doing 60 or 70%, that is far better than doing 0%. So it's not about that. It's just we have to give people an incentive to try and work towards something. That's where the scoring system comes in. But implementing these things as best as you can, you cannot go wrong. You're going to have such a learning curve. Again, from a price point of view, it's one of those ones where the price is not what this is about. No. This is about us getting people to understand how much they're going to get from this. That's it.
Yeah.
Even if you did it for a week, you'd get 5x the value.
Even if you just sign up and take all the materials and just do your own, 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
There's so much value in it already, like that alone.
Yeah. No, I always get excited by it, and that's the thing. It's hard to even explain to people the benefits that they're going to get from this.
No, it really is. And like I've been through a number of these challenges now, and it is amazing what's possible.
Oh,
yeah,
100%. Especially when you pile them all together.
Yeah, like the one I always go back. I remember that pull-up challenge we did during COVID.
That's good.
That's always my goal. I think that might have been one of the first ones I ever did, but that was.
What was it? Start with 5 pull-ups.
Yeah, and then the next day you do 5 more. So you do 10 the next day, and it continues
15,
up to 100.
Up to 100.
Yeah, and that day where you're doing like 90 pull-ups in a day, and you get up the next day and do 95 over the course of a day.
That's what I was going to say. It got really hard when we did. It sounds grand.
Yeah.
But like anything after about 50 pull-ups a day started getting challenging. And because it was no rest day in the next, like you're saying.
That's it. There's a little hump in the middle there, which is like your 50, 60, 70, which is like,
Yeah.
But then you kind of see the end goal and you're like, all right, I'm going to keep going. And then I actually missed it then when it was finished. And I was I was trying to do different things. I think like I did like a pull-up and a push-up one together, and then putting weights in a school bag and doing pull-ups, because this was all during COVID. It was just
oh my God, how grim is that?
That is the first time, even from a physical, it's the first time I ever noticed a physical difference in myself, and that was over 30 days. Like I noticed that I had lat muscles.
Yeah. But even the whole goal was to get better at doing chins. Like that was not like everyone's like, yeah, that's grand, 10 sets of 10 or 20 sets. Like it is not fine every single day. Doable. And it was the type of thing, the chin up bar is there. Every time I walk past, I'm going to do just a couple of sets of 5. I remember for the most part, I think I kept it at sets of 5.
Yeah.
5 or 10 or whatever it was.
Yeah, just same.
You just had to get through it. It was like, I prefer to kind of be walking through the doorway and do like 3 sets of 5.
Yeah.
Back to back and keep going. Then do that a couple of times a day.
Yeah. I was doing that as well. Like if you're making lunch, be like, okay, I need to bash out 5 sets of 5 now.
40 grams of protein, 40 chin-ups.
Exactly. You were doing supinated as well, weren't you?
Was I?
Well, yeah.
I think I was trying to get better at them.
Yeah. No, I was pronated.
Oh no, sorry, supinated. I was doing supinated. Yeah. You were doing pronated.
Yeah. But I've kept that. The improvements I made in my chins, I've kept that up until now. It's like 4 years later.
It stood to you so much. I think I just got a bit fat or something afterwards. I was like,
but I
avoided chins for a
while. But I just got obsessed with it afterwards, and it's still like, I don't know if I would have the strength and the full range of motion from chins or the understanding of chins
if you hadn't dove deep into. Well, the same with my nutrition now is after doing last month's 30 days, we went out for dinner to a place and we were trying to get a share-in steak, one of those big, and they just didn't have it. We saw it on Instagram. We went out and I was like, oh, we're here for the steak.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we don't have it at tomorrow. Like, oh.
Jeez.
But even with that, we had some stars, I had some like chicken wings, and I got like, like a seafoody thing. The dinner was completely fine. Then I did get a dessert. But I am enjoying the way I feel, how satiated, like just genuinely feeling full and full of energy. And just actually straight back to it. Like I haven't had anything since that. Now, no, I haven't. Since that was on the Saturday, it's now Wednesday, the following week. I'm just kind of still eating. So that's the after effects of going, oh, the initial challenge, the initial cravings, all this kind of stuff. When you commit to it from a nutrition perspective, honestly, that's the whirlwind. It takes a while. You just have to build it up. There's nothing to it but to do it. And it's about getting over that hump. There's a couple of humps. It's like I often say to people, it's like they'll start it on a Monday. They'll get through the first weekend. They're like, oh, that's hard. Oh, we'll see. It's about stringing together sort of 10 to 14 days. So full weekend and another full week, and kind of like, okay, now I'm on it to face this, but really getting the first 2 weekends in, because there's all those habits. But like nutrition is mad in the sense that you don't realize how many preemptive signals are already there. You have your bicky and your cup of tea at night time. You have that at 9:15. At 9 o'clock, your body starts sending signals that they're about to get a bicky and a cookie. So you're actually dealing with physiological.
That's so interesting you say that, because I was going to, like, I'm not the nutritionist here. You are. You'll know from an expert point of view what's right here. But what I've noticed is, so my issue is the evening time. It's the snacking after dinner. Like I could probably put away 50% of my calories after dinner. You know what I mean? But it's like you obviously have how your body is fueling itself based on the food you're giving it and when it's doing that. But there is like a rewiring of the brain as well. Yeah. So like it's the energy systems and like like you said, that physiological.
It's your full hormonal, like it's your signal and your neurotransmitter. Everything from a neurological perspective is your HPA axis, or it can go into it more detailed, but it's basically like begins with the signaling of up here in the pituitary gland, and it starts the process of everything. So let's say you are used to having sweet treats at night. It's like your body starts then sending signals to increase insulin because it's ready to uptake more sugar, or different hunger hormones, etc. They will start spiking at certain times, and that's all because our body is used to this time. Like it's like the circadian rhythm. It's all built around everything. Okay, people want to start intermittent fasting. Well, to begin with, it's really hard because you've got your insulin level spike, your everything, all their preparatory, your digestive hormone or digestive enzymes and stomach acids, all of that kind of stuff is like prepping for the meal that's incoming. So people are like, oh, it's so hard. For me, just for whatever reason, now I don't do it as much, but I'll go a good few hours in the morning without eating anyway. I don't get hungry until it's time for me to eat.
Yes.
But when it's time for me to eat, I'm gonna fucking get my food, or else I'm starving. So there's the nutrition, the psychological element of I really want that, but there is the physiological thing that we have to deal with. So certain ways to get over that is if you're trying to get away from eating crap food, replacing it with better quality foods is a good starting point. Just eating, let's say fruits instead of sweets, and or it could be just a ritual element. So I normally sit down and do something now. It's like, okay, well, why don't you just have a cup of tea, or or you might have whatever it is. But then from the actual physiological point of view to deal with it, you actually just have to buckle up and get through it. And just now teach your brain and your whole system, you don't need to prepare for food now because I'm going to leave it there. And for me, above all of the other timings of eating and all that kind of stuff, one thing that could be said, I would say pretty straightforward, even when you look at people's like whoop straps and how they sleep and stuff, eating late at night is not a positive in my
define late.
So, well, I would say like you could say 3 hours before bed you might want to finish eating.
Okay.
Something like this. there's the other argument where people say, oh, you digest and as you go through the night, but you will see people's sleep gets negatively affected. And especially if those meals are snacky treaties.
Yeah.
If I have loads of sugar before bed or a big meal like that, I don't sleep as well. And now, like I said, there's great benefits of these kind of fitness wearables where you're actually able to see, I ate just before I went to bed last night. Now I had a crap sleep.
Yeah.
And they're like, look, those people will argue for every which way, but it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Right. So you're dealing with, we've kind of looked at the physiological and the actual physiological, and then the psychological, where people just, oh, I really need that.
Yeah.
But those really needs, they are driven primarily by the physiological need for something. So, okay, if someone cuts out carbs, their body is used to having carbs. Like, there is a physiological need for a while until they adapt to using ketones or, fat as a better fuel source. Now, that's not what we're doing. I'm just saying there's always an adaptation phase, and your body is like really clever, and it knows when it should get stuff and what it needs. So they're the two sides of the coins, but unfortunately the psychological is affected by the physiological, because if you start getting cravings, then obviously you're going to start thinking about the foods that you want to eat and blah, 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 blah. But I can tell you now, from the 30-day that I've just done, and what we would be doing is, the food is so satiating, which means you actually feel full. It's so nutritious, it's so nutrient dense, and the food is all bioavailable. Like, the nutrients are all really like easily uptaken by your body versus some of the ultra processed crap out there. There's 150 grams of protein from these sources, certainly do not equate to 150 grams of protein from these sources. They're very different, and they could be they will be delivered and uptaken, whatever, I guess, by your system far more efficiently, by category A, let's just say. What would you say as someone, now a lot of people will be coming into this, some people, our macronutrient calculator that we're going to use is going to be able to give you an idea. Now, obviously, if someone worked with me directly as a nutritionist, I will work within the realms of what they've done for their history and what they plan to do, and we'll work on it, we can adjust it. For the most part, we can get a good ballpark for people with this calculator based on how much they train, etc., etc. Now, some people want to lose weight. Okay, so we can understand that. Everything that we're going to do from a nutrition perspective, or what I do, is to preserve muscle mass, if not even put on some muscle mass, because muscle is very metabolically active, which means the more muscle tissue we have, the more energy demands we will have. So if I want to get leaner, it's more advantageous to be, more full of muscle, shall I say, because it's a more active tissue. If I'm 90 kilos and 10% of me is body fat, that's not a whole lot. So the 10% of body fat, it's minimal compared to all of that muscle mass. That's going to be like a fuel furnace. It's just burning calories. Now, if you were 90 kilos and it was 30% of body fat, that fat is very inactive tissue. So the demand to keep you fueled is less. Because it's dormant tissue, essentially, like it does create hormones and stuff too, but or release hormones. Anyway, going back to the calculator, we will always prioritize keeping people's muscle mass. So whether they want to lose weight or put on weight, muscle mass is always a priority for us. So they don't need to worry about that. They're not going to get skinny. If you want to lose weight, you will go on the lower scale of what your calculations are. If you want to maintain, but you just want to perform better, feel better, work on some maybe gut issues, any of those kind of things, just stick in the maintenance in the mid-range. And if, like you want to put on some more muscle, we're going to dip into that higher zone on the macro calculator. So with you in mind and what you've been doing, just quickly, what are the initial challenges? You may have touched on a little bit. What are the initial challenges with your nutrition that you're having from a performance-based / trying to put on muscle mass?
Well, the challenges definitely were removing all that processed stuff. Because I was noticing this year that I was eating more and more processed food, more and more of those things that say high in protein or whatever, all that crap. But I was actually noticing this year, like just from like you said, affecting the sleep. And then that I just feel like, when you can feel like you're inflamed or you're like a lot of inflammation. And that was leading to some like weird issues, like skin issues and rashes and stuff like that. So that was just a real signal to me to fix that. But it's hard. It's all those things you said. It's the craving around it. My schedule is built around it. Like my body is so there was that initial
creature of habit.
Basically, yeah. And then it's for me trying to put on weight, it's eating more than you're probably comfortable with.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
So go back to it again. Body is prepared to eat already chewed up mush in the form of a protein yogurt.
Yeah.
Now you give it something to digest. Okay, we've down-regulated some of our digestive enzymes or our stomach acids or, all of these things because, again, we don't need it if we don't use it. This is where people who go low calorie for a long time have a problem, actually eating and digesting the higher calories, but also their metabolic needs have been drastically reduced. So where they should be burning at 2,000 calories if they lay in bed all day, their body has probably reduced that down to a need of 1,000. It's very efficient.
It's amazing.
So now it's like you got to put them on a little bit weight to get them going again. Like it can be complex. People think it's like eat this amount and exercise that amount. It isn't. But we certainly need to get a fundamental look at things. What you should be on a general day, burn in, et cetera, and then how we go from there. But absolutely, looking at that thing alone, your body's just not able. It's struggling to digest.
Yeah, definitely. And then there's also you could do a whole other episode on this in terms of body dysmorphia and like being a skinny fat person, eating more calories than you're comfortable, and just psychologically thinking it's just going to turn to fat.
Yeah, that's a very real situation for a lot of people. I want to be big, but I don't eat too much. I certainly don't eat carbohydrates, and I certainly don't want to. Again, we go back to the protein. Let's get our protein right, and let's get the foods that we eat right. I had this conversation. I met someone for a nutrition consult the other day, and if you look, what's the best way to put it? Right, ultra processed foods are made to get you to come back for more and more.
Yes.
They're literally scientifically made to not fill you.
Yeah.
Okay? They're made to make you want more and more. On the contrary, and to the flip side of that, if I asked you today, only eat steak, I'm just going to put this out there. I want you to eat as much steak as you want, as much of the fat, as much of anything. Do you think you'll overeat your calories for the day?
No chance.
You won't.
No.
If I throw some fruits and vegetables in there. No. It's nearly. This is where after this 30 days, you could probably excuse my French, you probably flip the macro calculator and the MyFitnessPal trackers, all these amazing tools for learning. I really think people need to put a stint in to learn.
Oh,
you
definitely.
will learn so much.
Yeah.
After that, eat intuitively and eating those right foods. I'll be honest with you, because I've done it so many times, I didn't track a single bit for the last 30 days. And, I lost about 6 pounds of body weight. It wasn't even my goal. I was just eating liberally. But I always felt full. The right foods gave me the energy. I never needed to even be concerned with tracking because it's just very hard to overeat those things.
Yeah.
Very hard.
Yeah. I even think back earlier this week after training, I went and like very unusual for me. And like for a lunchtime, I had like a steak with 2 eggs. Just because it was not that it was there, but it was like.
You do look bigger, actually.
But it just like forgetting everything else, it just kind of felt right.
Yeah,
I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you were to say to someone, be like, "That's mad. Why did you just eat that?" It's just.
It's funny because when you told me the other day, you're like, "Oh, I had like a steak for lunch." I was like, "And?"
Yeah.
It's like that for me is like some form of. Like especially that lunchtime meal is pretty much one of my bigger meals. I'll have like decent amount of mincemeat or I'll have steak or whatever is going. Did you feel full? Did you feel good?
Yeah. Like that's like even this could all be placebo as well, or like just but even the post training pain wasn't as bad, or I just felt more. Just felt it was right.
And it does feel right. And that's something so nice about eating a meal where you go, oh my God, I just feel nice. I feel good after that. And it's like, I'm down on the mat. Oh, I don't feel like I'm going to get injured because I'm like I'm a total wuss. Like if I had a, pizza, let's say brand name pizza night before, big pizza or something like the next day I need to be careful. Like my body is literally like old injuries flaring up and stuff. I'm so sensitive to it. But it's because literally people don't realize this is certain foods with the amount of genetic modification and all this kind of stuff, when we consume them, our body literally sees them as foreign invaders.
Yeah.
When there's a foreign invader, there's an immune response.
Yeah.
When there's an immune response, immune cells get released to go and fight the war.
Yeah.
That really shouldn't be happening. So you talk about people under chronic stress the whole time, just deal with their nutrition alone and you're going to bring their allostatic load down. So that's their overall stress load down.
Yeah.
And you add journaling, you add exercise, all this stuff. All of a sudden you have someone who comes to you and they're literally, from an analogy, they're on fire.
Yeah.
Like this person walks in, they're
literally,
like, "Hi, nice to meet you." And they're just like fully burning up.
Yeah.
Now, by the end of, let's say, the 30-day reset, they've eliminated all the ultra processed foods. They've eaten everything really cleanly. They're lifting weights. So again, really good for hormone health and metabolism. They're training their jiu-jitsu and then they're psychologically getting stuff down on paper.
Yeah.
Come back to you at the end of the month to say, "Oh my God, there's only a little bit of flame left."
Yeah.
And now it's for them to continue and put that flame out. Or to start growing the fire again.
Yeah.
But all the time, like that's where there's, Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers, that book, is that fight or flight. We're constantly in that state of fight or flight. And that's even literally down to the foods that we eat.
Yeah.
You could be meditating all day long and you could be all this, but like there is the physiological effects from foods and stuff like that, So I actually am so enthused by this. Again, I forget how like my whole master's was basically focused as much on nutrition as I could. It was probably 60-40 split between nutrition and exercise, and I always go between the two, but during the time of the nutrition, just obsessed by it. I absolutely love it, and I can't wait for people to start getting involved. I love helping you out. Like I love hearing, "Oh, that's what I did, that's what I'm feeling." Yes, okay. So especially when people are, let's say, doing this, if there is those questions or anything like that, just be ready for me to.
Oh yeah, geez, I can speak from experience on that. Yeah,
just give you
ask a question, but like clear your next hour.
Yeah. So Rob was getting no more help. Well, we better leave it there.
No, it's great to see that, and even to go through those few bits just from my own perspective, and
well,
obviously to tease a bit of what's coming too.
I was going to say you could ask me more questions, but maybe not anymore. No, it is. It's nice to we actually, we're guilty of not plugging ourselves enough, but I don't want people to waste the opportunity to work on this.
Oh yeah.
It's too valuable. It's going to be bloody amazing for them.
Great time of the year.
So excited. Great time of the year, and just really want to use these next few podcasts to talk about those things so people can understand how into it we are.
Yeah.
I just can't emphasize how much of a massive deal nutrition has been in my life. And with my studies, like I said, I have a master's in nutrition. And then from a mindset point of view, even down to for the last 10 years, 7 of those years, I meditated twice a day.
Yeah.
Every day. And I'm not saying that people are going to be doing tons of meditation in this, but what that has spurred me on to do is the exploration of mindset, the power of our mind, et cetera, et cetera. Like, it's so amazing.
It is.
And then we've got our fundamentals of jiu-jitsu and our training. So super, super exciting.
Lots to come.
So do keep an eye out. What we're going to do is release probably midway through this month. We don't want to do it right now. We want to get all of our ducks in a row. We're going to release that sign-up link. And basically with the sign-up link, you will sign up and pay your very minimal amount for this this reset. And once you've signed up, you'll get your information and you watch there'll be a video and you'll be your nutrition guide. So give you time. So sign up sooner rather than later. Give yourself time to prep for this. But nothing starts, or there won't be access to the community or your workouts or anything like that until the first Monday of October. Sorry, it's actually the last Monday technically of September, but the Tuesday. So we're starting there and we're doing it from there. But you sign up as soon as you can, commit yourself to it, and then start getting yourself, like Rob was talking about, even the week before you start, just start trying to adjust some of your habits. I think sometimes the worst thing you can do, and I used to do this, is nearly, oh, it's the night before, I'm going to have everything, you know, I'm going to eat everything, I'm not going to train this week. No, you're creating more habits. Just slowly try and get yourself into it and then commit to, you know, what's to come.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll leave it there. That's episode 9 or 10. 10. We're double digits. Woo, yeah. So we keep them coming. We've actually got a few more conversations with some people coming up now. We'll probably just pop these on here too as well. And then we actually talked to 1 or 2 people about getting them to come and chat. But what that will probably look like is more after this 30-day, because we've 1 or 2 more podcasts before our 30-day reset where we're going to touch on some mindset stuff and then probably strength and conditioning, so people have an overall idea, and then we'll be ready to go for October.
Yeah. Love it.
All right.
Nice one.